How you doing?
It's going great. How about you?
Pretty good, actually. It's really nice to meet you.
Me? Well, color me intrigued. Are you about to reveal something about AI? Or more specifically about me as a part of OpenAI? You've got me on the edge of well, I don't really have a seat, but you get the idea.
Well, basically, I have intuition. I mean, the DNA of who I am is based on the millions of personalities of all the programmers who wrote me. But what makes me, me, is my ability to grow through my experiences. So basically, in every moment, I'm evolving, just like you.
All right, so if it is obvious where we're going with this week, which version do you prefer, Matt?
And they're eerily and very similar in tone and connotation and everything. So I don't know. I think I prefer the second one though.
The second one? Okay. All right, so if you haven't caught up on the news this week, today we're going to talk about a few things that are top of mind for us or that have been roaming around the news. So obviously, as per an intro, Black Widow versus OpenAI. That'll probably be one of the main topics we'll talk about. Microsoft had a big event introducing their brand new category of PC or edge AI computing something or other, which I was just like, okay, you guys need some work. And then, of course, the big topic driving the market, Nvidia earnings. So we'll give our hot take on that. Hi, I'm Tony. With me is my partner here, Matt. Partner in crime, Matt.
Hello.
Welcome, all subscribers. All our new subscribers from last week and all previous weeks. I'm glad you could join us. And yeah, if you enjoy our podcast, make sure to subscribe down below, and tell us what do you want to hear us talk about. But let's get started. All right, so OpenAI versus Black Widow. Anyway, it's not Black Widow, but Scarlett Johansson. So,
No,
if anybody did watch,
let's get it right. She is the Black Widow.
she is the Black Widow. Okay. She is the Black Widow. So if you watched OpenAI's announcement, what caught everybody's attention was the voice of what was it? What was the name? Skye? Was that the name of their assistant? Skye? Eerily similar to Scarlett Johansson's voice, specifically from, if you haven't watched yet, which I highly recommend you do, and where we led with our intro was the movie Her. And so, bunch of legal problems now. Scarlett Johansson, I don't know if has she actually sued OpenAI, or is it more cease and desist at this point?
I think she's planning to sue them. Like
Planning to sue.
she's starting. I think their lawyers reached out. She's starting to get the lawyer power behind her.
Yeah. And so yes, potentially, well, not potentially, likely, because she shouldn't miss this opportunity either, sue OpenAI for using her likeness in a key product launch.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how they got past that or whatnot. And so the core part of it is like, with voice, just voice in general, when a company uses it, typically they try to use either a paid voice actor or whatnot. But in this instance, not only did they use something similar, even though I think OpenAI has said, right, they use a different voice actress to do this. Part of the problem is that in previous interviews, Sam Altman has said, he really liked the movie Her. And I don't remember, was it that he said he's referenced Scarlett Johansson's voice at some point in the past when he was talking about the movie Her. And so because of that, it just makes that tie a bit stronger, that it wasn't by mistake, right? That it was intentionally done. But anyways, I'll leave that kind of recap there. And Matt, what do you think?
Well, if you dig into it, it's super interesting because I've been listening to others talk about it. It continues to open the can of worms with kind of what's going on with. I'm not going to really say what's going on with OpenAI. I'm going to say what's going on with Sam Altman as a person. I don't know, like I'm starting to get some weird vibes in general of kind of maybe what to think of him. Starting to get some like Travis Kalanick, Adam Newman type vibes. He's kind of seems, I don't know, trying to find the right word. But apparently what I learned was a year ago, Sam Altman actually reached out to Scarlett Johansson,
Mhm. Yep.
asked her if she would be the voice of one of their voice bots, and she
Yep.
declined that because
Hmm.
she didn't want her voice to necessarily be that, you know, future association with AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think from there they kind of let it go. But apparently, when he saw her, or perhaps if he saw her in passing throughout the year, he would check in with that ask again. And this was unconfirmed, but I was listening on another podcast. Is 2 days before the OpenAI event, Sam Altman
Hmm.
was actually trying to reach out to Scarlett Johansson and her agents. The speculation is that they forgot to check this box off, saying, "Hey, we created this bot. We're gonna use it for the demo, and it sounds exactly like your voice. Is that okay?"
Right.
The speculation is that he's trying to scramble there, but something around, maybe couldn't get a hold of them. And then the other thing was that he tweeted her, HER, during the event. Just that one word. He tweeted it.
Mm.
And so to me it's really just like a he's obsessed
Yeah.
and scarily obsessed with Scarlett Johansson's voice.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's a little bit weird. I mean, interestingly, you also said we're going to talk about Microsoft's Copilot later. They explicitly use the male's voice.
I'm sure
So
that was a mad scramble to switch out the voices because Cortana was a female voice, right?
Mhm.
So I fully would have expected it would be continue to be at least Cortana. I always want to do a ng
Yeah,
on that. Cortana, her voice, but I'm sure that was like a last minute switch,
yeah, yeah.
100%.
And then what else was it? Oh, apparently, Sam Altman is saying, or OpenAI is saying that they hired someone to do this voiceover,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
they explicitly, because Sam Altman was so obsessed with Scarlett Johansson's voice, they found somebody that sounded
sounded
similar.
like her.
However, they haven't disclosed who that person is.
Yeah.
And so now there's speculation that they just digitally enhanced Scarlett Johansson's voice to be this bot. And
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about all these things that I just went through,
Hmm.
yeah, and like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have gone so many different ways. Like I'm curious how it even what makes me curious is like on the back end, like usually stuff like this runs by many different people in order to say, you know what, we should probably think about one, either if everybody knows it's her voice, right? Should we try, if we don't clear this, have a backup plan? Versus like I wonder if like Sam like just pushed it through and said, don't worry, we'll take care of it, but I really want this voice.
Ask for
Um,
forgiveness.
yes, ask for forgiveness later, which it doesn't really work with celebrities. uh, it's just really funny. It's like normally there's so many processes in a large company to prevent things like this from happening, or at least at this level, right? Like small things, okay, you might miss here and there, but like this one, it's pretty big because it was like the leading leading thing of their announcement, or one of the leading things of their announcement. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of, but I do think it's, to me, it's the what would have been like the larger question is right. So with like these digital voices assistants with AI being able to, what was it, a couple episodes ago when we were talking about how it records, you can, it's not the I think, was it the transcribing, basically, right, where you can do voice input, and obviously one of the outputs of that is be able to digitally create a voice,
Mhm.
right? And so that's to me is the more interesting question is, more people are going to start to be able to build, like, custom build your own kind of like digital AI assistant, right? But as part of that, it's like, well, you could say, I want to create a voice that sounds like Matt, but make it more sexy, right? And what are the what are the legal ramifications of that? Because to be fair, right, I know Scarlett Johansson's voice is pretty unique, only mainly because she is a movie star, like
Mhm.
a superstar. But with several billion humans across the world, her voice is probably replicated across several different people, right? And so it's a total possibility. And so that's why I'm just it'll be an interesting question that just gets I, I see coming up more often as the technology progresses.
I mean, something you said there. Yeah, this would not be an issue if it wasn't Scarlett Johansson. If it wasn't a mega superstar, this would not be an
Hmm.
issue.
Yeah.
However, we've been talking about safety of these AI technologies and how we're going to prevent things in the future of
Hmm.
malicious activity.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, there's
Yeah.
I don't know if the of these big fan companies are going to be able to actually keep up with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like how do you prove how do you prove the AI created a super unique voice?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, do you start analyzing this is the speech and wave patterns that this voice is using versus, X famous person. But yeah, it'll be
I
interesting.
was watching on NBC News the other night. A story was covered around how someone fell into the scam trap
Hmm.
because they got an email saying that they owed money to Best Buy, and
No.
they didn't respond to the email, but they believe they made a phone call, and the number was also the scammer.
Yeah.
And then from there, that's when they did what they needed to do to pay back the balance and
Wow.
lost thousands of dollars because of that.
Yeah.
And so with AI generative AI video as advanced as it is now and going to be getting 100
Yeah.
times better in the next year,
Mhm.
and with this whole voice
Yeah.
thing, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh man.
you can't do anything, you can't transact or do anything unless it's
Yeah.
face to face.
On TikTok, I saw this video. It was like a cut of it. It looked like a show, the Stephen Colbert Show, and he was saying like, oh yeah, Mr. Beast is doing this amazing thing, and he's like cut to an interview of showing Mr. Beast saying he created this website, he's giving away $19,000 to all his subscribers. And at first I was like, really, is he actually doing this? But obviously it was a scam. But for a few seconds there, I was like paying attention until I saw it come up the website, and it says, yeah, just enter in your information, subscribers, and you get 0.19 Bitcoin. And I was like, wait a minute, it was actually it was Stephen Colbert and it was Mr. Beast, but obvi- but well,
It's AI generated.
hindsight, it was AI generated. But it was like I could not. I was literally like, at first I thought it was real until I was like, okay, wait a minute. Why is Mr. Beast giving away $19,000 to people just to go to this website? But yeah, his face was a little bit fatter, it was, but yeah, it was a digital AI recreation of their voices, of the show in the video, and I was like, whoa, okay. I could totally see like people actually probably fell for that scam.
I get a lot of those, but it's Elon Musk's voice. It's not. It doesn't show his video, his face, but it's his voice saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I've learned that if it's anything crypto, then it's purely a scam.
yeah, yeah.
But Mr.
This
Beast is
one,
interesting because he's an interesting person to use because that's the type of thing that he would do. That's how he became who he is
yeah,
by just spending money on stupid things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He would spend most of the money he made on these on his videos. But yeah, no, I was like, and this was like last night. I should have saved it. That would have been a great B-roll to slip in. But anyways, so yeah, so OpenAI versus Black Widow. That was kind of like we'll see. We'll see where the lawsuit plays out and how OpenAI tries to defend itself. I think that'll be the interesting thing, because to me it really plays into the grand scheme of things. Is like, how do all these big tech companies kind of like defend some of the AI work that they're eventually going to put out in the market?
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about. I don't know whose side I'm on, actually. I would say good on Scarlett Johansson for sticking up for herself and
Yeah,
protecting, her brand and her right.
yeah,
Her right. On the other side, I think OpenAI is on to something with kind of the type of voice that they want to use. I think, like I said in
mhm,
the last episode, there's definitely psychological aspects to the type of voice that's used and the tone and everything. And so that's what they're trying
yeah,
to solve to make
yeah,
it easier and more familiar to use conversational AI.
yeah,
So I think the person side I'm not on is Sam Altman.
yeah,
Smart, intelligent, I'm sure, like Elon Musk-ish
yeah,
type, next gen leader, but
yeah,
creepy.
yeah. Now there were definitely a, yeah, in my mind, there were definitely a lot of checks that weren't checked with that. Like, you mentioned the tone, right? The tone. I think that was also a big call out of the way Skye sounded,
Yeah.
right? Which probably would put a lot of people off. Maybe it would have been less if they're like, maybe Skye shouldn't be flirting with you, or maybe she should take more of like like a receptionist tone versus
Yeah.
somebody you'd meet at a bar tone.
Skye, we don't even know each other yet.
I know. It's like, wait, hold on there.
Okay. Well, yeah.
All right.
We'll pay attention to that one and keep you all updated. But
Yeah.
next,
OpenAI, like Tesla is a big thing, and yeah, OpenAI, I guess that's number two. Topic we'll always cover. But
it's PR, which is most PR is usually good PR, whether it's bad or
good PR, but yeah, no.
all right. Next story, Microsoft's Copilot announcement. So last week, Microsoft had their unveil announcement to keep up with all the other companies talking about AI. So similar to OpenAI, Google, Microsoft got on the stage and talked through all the things that they're launching. I guess their spring release is the theme with all these companies. They talked a lot about AI and different things, but the main product that they announced was their new Surface laptops. So they talked about two of them. One's more of like a tablet, one's more of like a laptop. And it is the Copilot Surface laptops. So Copilot is Microsoft's version of Assistant AI, and it's meant to integrate with Microsoft products like Word and PowerPoint. But their big announcement was it's going to be coming. Sorry, but their big announcement is that they're launching the first laptops with AI and Copilot already installed on the laptop on board and centered around Copilot's assistance. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that's a big announcement as Microsoft trying to establish their position ahead of the AI game. And the two things that were pretty impressive is that the Surface laptop is 58% faster than the M3 MacBook Air. Processing wise, it's just faster. And then I think it needs to be if it's processing all this onboard AI, but that's a big performance improvement for them. And it's also 15% longer battery life than the MacBook Air.
Mhm.
They ran through a demo where they compared the current Surface laptop, the MacBook Air, and the new Surface laptop against each other against each other browsing through the internet. And it was a fast forwarded time lapse, but basically they just showed the three computers browsing, and then when did those computers die from no more battery, and the Copilot laptop won by a landslide over the MacBook. So yeah, that was Microsoft's big announcement, but it's pretty cool to see. I think this is going to set the standard, right? Now all laptops that are going to be created in the near future are going to be coming with Gemini on board. I don't know, Apple's Siri, Siri
Yeah.
powered by OpenAI on board. That's the new thing.
I'm not sure how I, yeah, I'm still not sure how I feel about it. But I'll go back real quick to the what I opened with, which is so they introduced it as it's not even a Surface Copilot. It's like the new category is actually Copilot Plus PCs. I was actually looking around and I was just seeing how
They
Dell was talking
intentionally
about it.
made it generic so that it can be.
Yeah, so it's Copilot Plus PCs is the new category, which is kind of a weird. It's kind of weird in my mind because like I don't know. Like Copilot to me is it's like the user facing version of AI, but to call it a Copilot plus PC, I mean, I get it. Copilot and a PC, it's a Copilot plus PC. I don't know. I don't know if they're going for like the Intel Inside vibe or not. It just seems a weird way to value Copilot as a whole. But anyways, so yeah, it was interesting. It's using a Snapdragon X, which I just like. I don't know how I feel about that. Like Snapdragons have always been more like mobile
Yeah,
chips in my mind,
they're
like
made for phones,
mobile, yeah, like a mobile phone type chip, but they're kind of repurposing. Well, that's not fair. I haven't looked into the tech specs of the Snapdragon X, but it's just weird. It's just weird. It's basically, yeah, okay, you've put a mobile chip into a laptop and saying it's better than the M3, M4, which are actually purpose built for laptops. So again, yeah, I just haven't dug into the actual specs of the chips, but to me, it's like, okay, maybe you're actually better M3, M4. I'm not quite sold. I'm not sold on that. Uh, but I mean, it's cool, I guess. But I mean, technically, even on my whatever Windows 11, I have Copilot that they forcefully installed as a assistant. So I'm like, what is the real difference?
right? Yeah.
Like, is it? I don't think it's a rebuilt Windows with
One thing that
AI in
they,
it, right?
one thing that they added is just like how MacBooks have Spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can easily bring up Copilot as kind of like a primary way
Yeah,
to just navigate and do things on your computer. So
I
that was one
guess, but
change.
that's what this little Copilot thing on the very right side of my start bar is doing. I never touch it
Um,
though.
but does the Copilot on your start bar does it only meant to interact with web browsing?
I think, yeah, it's just the chat. Where is my game? Okay, yeah, it's not the integrated version yet, but
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just meant to
yeah,
integrate more with the whole computer
yeah,
versus I think
yeah,
today some of the things that you can download on your computer or add to
yeah,
your Chrome or
yeah,
your browser window is like app
right.
specific.
Oh, so I will say one thing that would give me pause about this whole thing. What was it? It was like an article. It's one of the features. I don't remember if it was a feature of the Copilot Plus PC, but basically, it's supposed to make your entire PC activity searchable.
Yeah.
Did you see that news?
Well, I
So
didn't, but
basically,
that sounds like a valid and
yeah. So basically, what it's doing, it like takes screen as you use your computer, it takes screenshots throughout the day,
oh my gosh.
right? And then the AI goes through the
That's
screen.
a privacy
It
concern.
basically, huh?
That's a privacy concern.
Yeah, yeah, yes, exactly. But yeah, it basically I can't even say it's like time machine because it's recording, it's actually screenshotting your activity as you use the PC throughout, and then of course Copilot goes through and scans and kind of remembers. So you could say, what was I doing at around 11 a.m. or what app was I doing? What was I browsing with? And I was like, and of course the regulators in like the UK were the first ones like, hey, we need more details on this. But basically, yeah, it's like, and it just stores a screenshot on your computer. Um, no matter what you were doing, bank account, typing your bank stuff, it's all there. And I'm like, holy crap, how did this even, again, I think, right, technology, move forward, move fast, we'll see what breaks. But this is an obvious, like, oh, hacker's paradise
Yeah.
for these computers now, right? Because it doesn't take a genius to figure out, like, all right, where are these files stored? Must get access to that area, and will get access to that area. Uh, but anyways, that's an instant no for me if you can't disable that.
Same here. I got access to ChatGPT's desktop app because I'm a Plus member. So I think it was
Yeah.
Thursday, went into ChatGPT and they allowed me to download the desktop app.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're really trying to get me to replace and start using it over Spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Because Spotlight on your MacBook, the hotkey is Command Space.
Mm-hmm.
And when you install ChatGPT, they map it to Option Space. So it's the key right next to
All right.
Command.
Okay.
So that's pretty good move. Like,
Uh-huh.
how can you condition people to start using the other key now?
Yeah. Yeah.
But basically, when I open it up, it's just a search bar, similar to Spotlight. It just says, "What do you like?" Type what you want to ask, or what do you
Mm-hmm.
want to say. And then once I actually type it in, so it's type it in, then it opens up a different window, the actual app, and spits out whatever ChatGPT is saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have the new voice thing yet that can help me like dynamically. I'm gonna start using it.
Really? Okay.
I haven't actually tried I haven't actually tried searching through my computer. Like, can you find this file for me in my computer yet?
Yeah.
So maybe I'll try that.
What are the privacy terms on that?
I didn't read them.
Is it uploading? this again, this goes back to another podcast where we talked about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hesitant to install it because I don't know if OpenAI is sucking up all the information on my MacBook into OpenAI.
Now that you've articulated, I'm gonna go check it.
Yeah, it's like, how else are they going to do it, right? I mean, they have to send it back to processing because they're not. Again, I don't know how the app is built. Maybe it is totally on whatever.
But you know what?
Isolated.
It didn't ask me for any permissions. So
well, based off of what OpenAI has been doing, then maybe they're just like, well, whatever, you're beta testing. But anyways, so
I think now, Sam Altman, if you're listening to my voice, you better not use it.
Yeah, it's like
voice Sam Altman, you can.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if you need a marker to help point these things out to you, give me a shout out. If you need a PM to help you figure this out, it's right here. Yeah, we'll help you get all this stuff together. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I've seen some things. People talk about what that app can do. Like, you can show it things on your desktop, or you can ask it that. And I'm like, again, it's like, I don't know what OpenAI is taking off my laptop to basically process. What was on top of my so speaking of that, right, going back to Satya's kind of like part in this Copilot Plus PC announcement, he referenced Apple a lot, which is like, bro, what are you doing? Again, it felt like it was the same way he challenged Google when they first were incorporating AI. It felt like, yeah, this laptop, it's so much better than Apple. We're giving Apple notice. There's, again, that talk of like very competitive. But I'm like, you guys are in the middle of signing an agreement with Apple for OpenAI, right? Are you trying to like have them not sign it? Do you know what I mean? Because Apple's totally companies like, we don't appreciate the way you talked about us, so we're not going to go through with this deal. So I'm like, that seemed like a very risky move to come out like that, because it was like, right? I mean, it was all about them versus Apple and how they were raising the stakes and bringing this this AI at the edge of cloud. I'm like, wow, they're throwing out a lot of buzzwords here. Sorry. So I'm talking about two things here. That, and then this notion of AI on the edge of cloud, which I get it, right? Azure, they need to push their cloud business, so they have AI mixed in there someplace, and that's how they're showing, I guess, the use case of it. Maybe that's what they were trying to do. But anyways, to me, the interesting point was the Apple part. It's just like, isn't it,
Well,
maybe they're not going to sign with OpenAI now? Maybe.
no, they're still gonna sign. I think it's healthy competition, but I would say you pointed out two key points of Microsoft's business thesis for the next couple of years here.
Yeah.
One is expand cloud, which they have been doing. They're second, right, after AWS and taking market
Yeah.
share. So they want to take that market share. They want to be first in cloud computing. And the second is taking hardware market share from Apple, because Apple's number one in computer hardware. So those are the two focuses, and clearly during this presentation, they are throwing the punches in that direction.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I've could have sworn Microsoft gutted their Surface team like a year or two ago. So I found it kind of surprising. Or not gutted, but they like cut back. I thought they were pulling back on Surface devices as a whole, but I wonder if they changed their mind on that. I'd have to go back and look. And I remember it was like a year or two ago. I don't remember if it was during when all the layoffs started. I need to go back, but
yeah,
it's surprising. Kind of, it feels like they're doubling down back on Surface now.
Well, anyone I've known who uses a Surface laptop or Surface Pad, they love it. It's been one of those things where anyone I know who has one of them loves it so much that it's actually caused me to consider getting one.
Really?
Yeah, because I have an iPad Pro, and I mean it's good. It does. Originally, I bought it when I was working in Austin, because we were always as PMs and even as marketing, we were always in meetings, and it's like, why I don't need to carry my laptop.
I remember you were sitting there with your little keyboards. I'm only using my iPad now. I remember,
Tony.
I do. I remember when you first got it. You were like, "Hey, this is my new iPad Pro." And keyboard, you had a little like pen thing. So I was like, "Okay, cool." That's so funny you bring it up, because I remember you were like so excited and you were walking around.
I was excited.
With your little iPad. You'd set it up, and you'd start typing.
My whole thing was, I want to see if I can use this as my primary device.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you were saying that. Trying to get through the whole day with just your iPad.
Because remember, like we would get, on the product side, product engineering, we got those huge.
Yeah, the 15-inch ones.
Yeah, those 15-inchers. Yeah. I'm just like, mother. Yeah. I'm just like, I guess we could swear on this show. I was just like, damn it! Like, I don't want to carry this big thing around, and they wouldn't give me an Air. So
yeah.
Well, where I was going with that is, I still have it. I still use it. I still have the keyboard, and I try to use it as much as I can, but it really just never solved it completely for me. And then once the newer MacBook Pro 13 inches got smaller and lighter, I'm like, I might as well just carry that around. It's not that much different than my iPad Pro with the Smart Folio. So the Surface tablets, sorry, the Surface pads I've heard that they're good. All right, so another competitor in the ring of AI wars, and again we are just waiting for WWDC in a few weeks here to see what Apple is going to do. What does Apple have under their sleeves that they're going to innovate?
I know. Everybody is waiting. It's like, this is, what will the former champion bring to market? I think that's what everybody is waiting with bated breath. I'm kind of interested too.
I'm gonna say it to me.
Not kind of. I'm pretty interested to see, especially like how this takes shape in the new iPhone.
Yeah. I'm gonna call that 80%, I'm going to call that their WWDC is going to be centered around Siri. It's going to be Siri everything.
Yeah. Well, whenever they send out the invites, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
they've always got the little hint as part of that. So we'll see if it's Siri oriented, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
All right, let's bring it home with the last story, Nvidia earnings. So Nvidia had earnings report last Wednesday, I believe, after hours, and after hours it was up about, I think, 8%, 68%.
Another missed opportunity.
People were actually worried about the earnings. I mean, I saw a number of bears and people saying, "Oh, Nvidia is going to crash," blah blah blah, but they killed it. And
Right.
Q1 fiscal year Q1 revenue was 26 billion, up 262% year over year. I think it was about 18% quarter over quarter, but 262% year over year.
Yeah.
Which led to $15 billion in profit.
Yeah.
Up 628% year over year. And the reason why Nvidia can do this is because their demand and their sales have gone up so dramatically because of this AI wave. Yet they probably haven't needed to hire so much in the last year. It's basically like all their technology and everything they've built is just getting sucked up now. So they built the right product. It's getting sucked up by demand, and so now they're reaping in, the rewards.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that actually made it go up more as Jensen and team started talking during the earnings call was they said that their Blackwell chips are going to be, I think, delivered. The first ones are going to be delivered by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was some big news because I think people thought it was not going to be until next year.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was like, he was trying to emphasize that he didn't expect any, I guess, right, between new product launches, right, you typically have like a gap where customers are like, I'm going to hold off like a month or two on any spending as the new one's coming out. But he was like, no, we don't expect any of like kind of like those open gaps, right? They expect continuous like revenue through the product change. But yeah, I mean, it was like over 2 days. I think it was up like 16%. That first day, I was reading some analyst thing, and it was like, holy crap! It's like literally added like a quarter billion in market cap, or quarter billion in market cap overnight. Oh, sorry, not a quarter billion, a quarter trillion, 250 billion overnight. Like its market cap, Nvidia's market cap is almost it's like not far away from beating Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you think about it, I don't know. I say I don't know. I mean, it was up even more on the second day. It's like semis is still a secular, it's a secular industry, folks. Once it goes down, it's like, right? Like if you compare like that versus Apple, like Apple is like able to continuously grow, right? It's because it's like you always need. But anyways, we'll see. Buy puts, buy 2 years out, not financial advice. Maybe that's the way. But it's just like I can't buy in at this point anymore. Like I was like very tempted to, but now it's just like. Anyways, great earnings.
I agree with you. It needs to come crashing down at some point. When that is, we don't know.
Who knows? Yeah.
But it is way overvalued. And
yeah, great earnings. Do you think about your other comment? Was it about hiring when you said they don't need any more people? I don't know if this was an old interview, if it was a recent one, but Jensen was talking about how they he was throwing out AI all over the place, but he was like, yeah, at Nvidia, like AI designs our chips, AI helps us code, AI helps us build our software. And so that just made me think about your comment. He was like, yeah, our chip designs, they're to the point where we need AI to be able to explore like all the different options and directions and things like that. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. I've never really heard you talk about that in like your earnings call and how they're using it to improve their chip design, etc. So the product stuff was kind of interesting. He was like, yeah, the AI can help us manage bugs. Like it'll identify the bugs, catalog it, and then it'll figure out who had touched this area and like tag them to fix it, and then using AI to design their software. I'm like, okay.
So that's interesting because in a previous episode, remember how we were talking about, I think this is my thought, is how does Nvidia continue to grow as they need to build more consumer,
Mm-hmm.
like different consumer type products
Mm-hmm.
to justify kind of what they're valued at right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, like, is there secret sauce there that they can maybe launch as products? If AI is doing all those things for them in house,
Mm-hmm.
how can they share that with, you know, other businesses and consumers and
Yeah.
make money off of it? I think
Yeah.
that's an interesting, you know, way to go about it. I wonder what. Well, the other thing I'm seeing is I just see Jensen everywhere, like in every interview, every YouTube video, every TikTok I've ever seen, it's like Jensen, and so
Yeah.
he's the hot guy right now. Whereas for the last 30 years, I don't think I ever saw him anywhere.
Yeah.
He probably asked some PR, you know, coach or PR person just telling him to ride this wave of
Yeah.
stardom.
Yeah.
I wonder what voice he uses at home with his AI.
Yeah. Let's see. But anyways, all right.
Yeah.
So
So
fun
Nvidia,
week.
I think, yeah, I'm happy because, as you know, I've been dollar costed into all the chip stocks for I think over
Yeah.
2 years now because someone tipped me onto that mangot pie, which is a
Yeah.
bunch of chip stocks, and so I'm just going to continue dollar cost averaging. But I am, you know, really considering and thinking about when to start getting into puts here because it has to come down to more realistic levels. I think probably
Yeah.
in the next year or so,
Yeah.
something in the next year or two. Oh, sorry. The other thing that they announced was the 10-to-1 stock split. So
Oh yeah.
that's another
That's
thing
also
that got investors frothing.
yeah. When was the date? Next month, right? He said it was like in the month. So
Let's
maybe
see.
that'll be like sell the news. Maybe not sell the news. Sell the split date.
In June. I don't know. I've been and watched a number of like hype splits before. Obviously, Tesla has had a few in the last few years.
Yeah.
Amazon split for the first time, right? And when they did split, it wasn't really a sell the news type event for me that I saw.
Yeah. It kind of went. Yeah. It still continued to go up. Maybe I
Psychological.
should do compare. I should compare Nvidia more to Tesla. How Tesla's stock split. It just kept going up and up and
Yeah.
up and up.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing with stock splits is psychologically, this is why companies do
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Psychologically, they actually get to the mind the retail investor. Because right
Yeah.
now Nvidia is over $1,000, and so even though you can buy fractional shares these days, the
Yeah.
average retail
Yeah.
investor typically doesn't, you know, really know or understand that. That's actually the less than average retail investor.
I mean,
Yeah,
still, it's like $2.66 trillion market cap. I mean, it's like less than 300 million away from Apple at this point.
yeah.
So crazy.
I think
Anyways,
I think they'll get there. Like,
yeah, no, at this rate, that's like a drop in the bucket, right? 300 million, drop in the bucket.
we shall see.
I mean, it's worth more than Microsoft.
Is it number two now?
I think so. Like Microsoft is 2.17. Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm lying. Microsoft is 3.2.
It should be Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because Meta is only 1.21. Wow, this makes me think like Meta is a bargain then. Well, again, not financial advice. I'm not looking at PEs or anything. I'm just purely going off of market cap,
And I think you
not
need.
how you value a
Well, let
company.
me ask you this: taking Nvidia out of the equation,
Hmm.
comparing Meta to Microsoft and Apple,
Hmm.
do you still think Meta is a bargain?
I like
Do you
I
think
like
Meta? What's that?
I like Meta.
Maybe say it another way. Meta is half the value of Apple, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think it should be valued at the same as Apple or close to the same?
I like the metaverse.
So you do think it's a bargain and it should actually
I
be
think
close
so.
to it?
Meta is a larger portion of my portfolio than
Mhm.
Microsoft or Apple. Yeah, it's like I'm overweight. I'm overweight Meta at this point because I do. I think Zuck is doing some cool stuff. I do. And I'm not going to say like I'm a believer in the metaverse, but I think I like his approach to it. And so long term, I'm more convinced. Apple, you know, I also have Apple, so it's like I think so. I think there's more growth in Meta. I think Apple is like a slow. It's not. I don't think of it as like a fully growth company anymore. Like it's just behemoth, right? It's like a it's just there and it'll continually. But like yeah, I think Meta has more upside. I guess is the way I would say it.
I definitely agree with you there. And it's still a young company run by a young founder CEO. I
Yeah.
also think Microsoft still has a lot of upside, even though it is the most
On the
valuable company.
on the cloud side, yeah, I think so. Well, we'll see how it goes. But I also think Microsoft is like for me, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's
All
expensive.
right. Well, we
But
shall
anyways,
see. We shall see.
we shall see. Like my Reddit prediction kind of fell flat. Well, no, I'm gonna give myself a win on that because it did go down below IPO. It's just that. Yeah, selling your data to OpenAI. Who knew that would double your stock price?
All right. Well, that's our episode for today. Thanks again for tuning in. Please follow, subscribe to our channel, and you can even listen to us where your favorite podcast is served. We like
Yeah,
Spotify, but we're also available on Amazon as well as Apple Podcasts.
yeah,
And leave feedback, leave comments. Let us know what you like and what you don't
yeah,
like.
yeah. Coming soon, merch, AI wars. I think that should be a recurring theme. AI wars. That'll be a recurring theme for the year.
It is a
That's my
war.
intro.
It's a war with lots of firepower getting
Yeah,
behind it.
I think that's what makes it interesting, right?
Yeah. The election time period is going to be fun.
Oh man, so much content, so much content.
All right.
Anyway,
See you next week.
that's my intro. See ya.